Alright, boys, girls, and lichens, Breakers of Shadows is finally out for sneak peek, taking place this weekend. But I know a lot of you guys want to know what are the best cards that you want to be pulling out of your booster packs, or if you want to trade for it if you see someone else pull these out of their packs. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Again, these are like the best cards in this entire set that you want to pull. Obviously, there's going to be great comments. We're just covering super rare and higher. But first off, we're going to be taking a look at Solemn Notice, or Solemn Strike, as it is now called in the TCG. But anyways, this is a secret rare, very hot card. We'll talk about more of their effects in just a moment. We just want to get out the cards just real quick. But anyways, we also have Perform Pop Pendulum Sorcerer. This is another secret rare. Another secret rare, Cyber Dragon Infinity. A fantastic card in almost everything. Next up, we have Trap Tricks Rafflesia, or Rafflesia. I don't know how you guys like to pronounce it, but she's here. She looks so freaking good. The artwork on this card is amazing. Next up, Cosmojo. Even though Cosmos won't be like a top like tier 0 deck compared to what's out in the game, you know, it's probably still going to be a decently priced card. You guys know how sneak peek prices are. It's still a good card to grab. Anyways, next up we have Twin Twisters. This card is a super rare. Next up we have Guiding Ariadne. So this card is another super rare. This card it's kind of an interesting card. So it's Ultimate Providence. Again, we'll talk more about some of like their effects and like their effects in the game in a moment. There's also Netta Abyss Atlantean Prince. Unfortunately, if you notice this deck, well, actually, you know, I'm going to make a separate video about like Mermills, but for the most part, I just don't think that they have a chance against the meta. Next up, Cosmo Tin Can. A very, very strong card, but again, it's not strong enough. But there's not very many. There's like 2 secret rares that aren't that great in the set. Obviously, I didn't show them, but for the most part, almost every secret rare in the set is very good. There's Enlightenment Paladin. This card's a pretty nasty card. It has basically Demox effect without like the downside. Essentially, it's way better than Demox. It outclasses him for sure. Then there's Azneyes Gravity Dragon. I know this is like a fan favorite card. If you guys want to see a great duel using this card, I'll put a link down below in the description box so you guys can check that out. Then there's also Master Pendulum, the Draco Slayer. When you activate Clash of the Draco Rivals, you usually go for this card and another. Obviously, you go for the Vector guy where it negates your opponent's pendulums. That's another option. Then there's the Shi Renui. They're the samurai zombie like spirit warriors, I want to call them. They're pretty cool. They're a synchro based deck, but again, it's just not going to be able to compete with what's in the game. There's also a bunch of Buster Blader support. There's more Red Eye support. I figure these are more like fan favorites, so if you're a collector, it might be just kind of a pricey card. You guys know how like those Dark Magician Girl cards are, right? Those fan favorite cards. Like again, more Buster Blader support, so I think those probably still kind of okay to pull, but obviously they're not like the first cards that we talked about that are going to hold and maintain their value because of their play in the metagame. But there's also, like I said, the Zombie Synchros. Then there's more of the Buster Blader stuff. And then there's Quaking Mirror Force. This also comes out in this set. Then there's more BLS stuff. It's not that great, but I figured it was kind of cool to mention that they are getting more support, so maybe they'll be good in the future. Then there's also some Kaiju stuff. Specifically this card, I think it's an okay little card. We're into like kind of like the smaller cards here. And then there's like the Pendulum Storm, which I think is a decent little card. Then there's Dynamis Rex, and then there's also the Magispector Toad. Pretty decent little stuff over here. Oh, also, one of my buddies sent me this. It's just a huge folder of a whole bunch of hentai pictures that you guys can like use for whatever reasons that you use them for. I figured some of you guys are pervs like me, so you guys might want them. But I'll link that down below in the description box as well. But now let's go ahead and actually talk about like, you know, some of these cards. So if you guys haven't seen any of these cards, I'll basically talk about like the most important ones. So if you guys haven't seen what Solemn Strike does or Solemn Notice, I'm going to link a video down below in the description box once again so you guys can see how all these new cards integrate into the game, and you will see how powerful these cards are because they're absolutely insane. This is like one of the craziest sets in a long time to come out. Almost every freaking secret rare, like I said, is good. There's only 2 that I didn't really mention here, and again, it's just because everything else is just way too powerful. But Solemn Strike is probably going to be one of the most expensive cards, especially because not only is it a card that people want, but it's a card that almost every deck can play, and on top of that, there's no reason why not to play 3 of them. This card is freaking amazing. So when a monster or monsters would be special summoned or a monster effect is activated, pay 1500, negate this summon or activation if you do destroy that card. Oh my gosh, this card is, it's just, the life point cost, I could just go on for days about like the life point cost. It's not enough. It really should have been like 25 or 3,000. But even then, the card is still going to see some play. Next up we have Pendulum Sorcerer. Especially since everyone's like playing upstarts now, like the life point cost is irrelevant when you pendulum and you get to destroy like multiple of your opponent's pendulum stuff. But anyways, this card, the Pendulum Sorcerer, you get to destroy up to 2 cards you control, and then you get to add Performapal monsters with different names from your deck to your hand, equal to the number of destroyed. Usually you get to destroy Ariadne, and then Ariadne then lets you get free extra cards. This is crazy. Well, let me go ahead and, let me pull this card. So what you do usually with this card is you pop Ariadne. Ariadne then triggers, I want to say her effect. But anyways, when this card is destroyed by battle by card effect, you reveal 3 counter trap cards. You reveal 3 copies of Notice. You go triple Notice, or I'm sorry, they're calling it Strike. Sorry, I'm gonna call it Notice because I'm just super used to it. So you're gonna reveal 3 copies of this card, and then like a solemn like warning, or like a Horn of Heaven, or just something, or what is it called, Grand Horn of Heaven. You're gonna reveal some along the lines of those cards, and obviously if you draw all 5, and someone's like, well, what if you draw all 5? You can't reveal. If you draw 5 solemns, I'm pretty sure against most pendulum decks you can just win the game because pendulums, they lose to those kind of cards. But excellent card indeed, and you don't have to pay life points to activate counter trap cards, and you do not discard. This card is just, I'm glad it's a super rare. This could have been easily another secret rare that they could have thrown at us. A lot of decks actually just played 2 of these. Personally, I think 3 is a great number. You definitely want to play more than 1 because you can proc its effect off of the Draco Slayer. So I would recommend 2, just like most builds, at least. I don't know, personally I think 3 is fantastic because I think this card is so amazing. But this will probably be like a card that not everyone will be playing in their decks, but it's still a very strong card indeed. I don't see why most people don't play it. It has to technically do with like the speed factor and the fact that you don't always get to go first, and obviously if there's no Cherry Beast, like good luck using this card, right? Then Cyber Dragon Infinity, this card itself, it's going to be used in a lot of different things. And Dynamis will make really great use of it. Heck, Cyber Dragons can obviously use it. That's what it's supposed to be for, but it's technically a splash and everything because Tolmaeus. This card might actually make Tolmaeus go up a little bit, but you guys know how sneak peek prices are. Everything's going to be super expensive. There's been listings of Psalms for 100 plus. This card is going for 70 plus right now. I don't really want to talk about sneak peek prices because everything can fluctuate within a few days anyways. And Bosch itself is actually kind of sold out for like normal standard prices. Some places are charging like $90 plus for this set. But next up, the Rafflesia. I think this card is an excellent card, but if you can't get your hands on one of these, I don't think it's really necessary to get one of these, and let me explain why. So the meta is shifting to the point where it's going to be so fast that like making this card is almost irrelevant in the game because everything like revolves around like your opponent can't play. And yeah, obviously you can still use that effect, that's pretty good, but a lot of times players will just be able to set the notices anyways. At least this is how it worked in the OCG, and usually we follow in their footsteps unless there's exclusives. But for the most part, people didn't really need this card because it was more of a benefit to have the notices that you search off of Ariadne, and then your opponent can't summon it anyways. You'd rather just go into the XYZ, the Magispector one, I believe it is. It's the one that lets you search. It's search like during the end phase. You get to search like anything that's pendulum. It's ridiculous. You usually just want to end up going for that anyways because it's not like you need to stop them from summoning because you already have access to those cards. But it definitely could be something that you guys want to try out. Again, if this card's really expensive, don't worry about this card. I feel like this card, it's like I said in the OCG, like they don't even really bother with this card anymore. It's just not, it's not powerful enough. But it's a very strong card again. But if you look at how the meta is going, like you really don't need it. As far as Cosmojo goes, it's a decent card because you get to destroy a Cosmo, and then obviously you get to proc their effects and bring back something else. Maybe you can disrupt some pendulum plays with it. Maybe you can get rid of perhaps the Ignister before, so your Cosmos are like good to go for another turn. But for the most part, Cosmos have just kind of fallen out of favor. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been looking at deck lists of what's been topping Cosmos. It's just not really there as it was before. Like at YCS SJ last, well, not too long ago, but it's last year. It was a really strong deck. But then like you go like a couple months later, and like it's not even on the radar, unfortunately. And like a lot of these cards, heck, dude, Cosmojo and the new like secret rare, the other Cosmo card, is also in here, and it's just it's probably not going to be so expensive. Twin Twisters, however, this card is excellent. So it's a discard 1 card, then target up to 2 spell and trap cards on the field and destroy them. Almost every deck's going to run 3 of these, if not sided, if not mained. This card is just excellent against like everything. You can proc your Perform Pals, you can proc the Perform Mages. There's a lot of stuff that you can, you know, discard and make good use of. And it's up to, keep that in mind. You don't have to destroy 2. Excellent X card, and it's a quick play. It's just, this card is just super strong. And then Ultimate Providence, it's an interesting secret rare. It's a TCG exclusive, I believe. And when a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, discard the same type of card, monster, spell, and trap, and negate the activation. And if you do, destroy that card. So with the Ariadne, it's actually pretty awesome because you can just, like, you don't have to use that effect of the discard. So it says you don't have to discard to activate. So I think that is really awesome. But I feel like not that many people are going to be running this card because it's kind of counterintuitive when you already have the ability to search off the Solemn Strike anyways. So, I mean, let me know your guys' thoughts on this, honestly, because I haven't really talked about this card. I thought it was an interesting card, but I didn't think it was like, oh my gosh, super tier 1 confirmed, like main deck 3. I didn't have that feeling with it, but as far as Mermels go, I guess I can kind of just make this video like, well, actually, because I know some players are really going to want to build Mermels and they want like a deck profile and stuff, I'll probably do that in that. But honestly, guys, I don't find Mermels to be that great because if you get noticed in Mermels or if you get horned, you just lose. Like, the deck needs to be super aggressive, and if you play passively in Mermels, you're just gonna get ignistered. So, like, yeah, good luck trying to proc any effects, you know, when you go pass. It's just not looking too good for Mermels. Like I said, you could OTK in the deck, but as far as your consistency versus the Pepe's consistency, you're just playing, like, in a completely different level. But like I said, there's some other stuff, and if you guys want to check out, like, the Odd Eyes, stuff that I mentioned, or if you want to check out the Zombie Synchros, I'll also link that down below in the description box so you guys can check it out. And if you guys want to look at some hentai, I'll also leave that. Hey, bro to bro, I like looking at that stuff too, man. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Let me know if you felt like I missed out on anything that we should have talked about in this video in the comment section below. But don't mention good common cards. I am aware that there's great common cards in this set, but I just wanted to cover the cards that people want to pull, like the money cards essentially, because if you want to know what's good in this set, you probably are playing in real life, and that's kind of really all that matters, is like the higher rarity stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. It's been your boy Will Smith, signing out.